I can feel it.
Yeah! Check it out.
I'm gonna win. I always call myself a fucking professional winner.
Dr. Dre, the genius who changed hip-hop forever. The man who built an empire from beats and became rap's first self-made billionaire. At 60, he stands on top of the world. Power, fame, and success. But behind that success hides a deep pain few people know about.
The ultimate form of revenge for me is success. I'm gonna keep being successful, make you look like shit.
Dre grew up in Compton, surrounded by gunshots, chaos, and struggle. He watched his friends, even legends like Eazy-E and Tupac, fall to violence. He's faced betrayal, heartbreak, and loss that never left his soul. The world sees a legend, but Dre still wonders, is success really victory or just a heavy price to pay? This isn't just about music. It's about survival. The story of a man who climbed from nothing and carried his scars all the way to the top. Born on February 18, 1965 in Los Angeles, Andre Romell Young came into a world that didn't welcome him easily. His mother, Verna, got pregnant at 15 and gave birth at 16, something that shocked the community. People whispered, he'll never be anything, just another kid from the hood. But inside that tiny home filled with struggle, one thing stayed constant: music. Verna loved it deeply, filling their home with the magic of Diana Ross, James Brown, and soulful R&B. For young Andre, those sounds were his escape. Still, danger was never far away. His father and his friends often drank, gambled, and fought, while his mother lived in fear that police sirens would show up any night. To survive, Andre locked himself in his room not to rebel, but to find peace. That peace shattered when his parents split, the moment that changed everything. After his parents split, Andre and his mom were thrown into a never-ending storm of poverty and struggle. They kept moving from one spot to another, never finding peace. Their journey finally ended in a place that symbolized both survival and danger: Wilmington Arms in Compton. Back then, Compton wasn't just rough. It was a war zone filled with gangs, drugs, and heartbreak. Living there wasn't a choice. It was the only option. The so-called American dream had completely fallen apart, but inside that chaos, young Dre found something powerful: inspiration. The sounds of the streets, sirens, shouting, fear, mixed in his head with the funk of James Brown, forming the raw heartbeat that would one day create gangster rap.
Always knew they were, kept their word, ignored all the noise, and made the deal.
But pain didn't stop at the music. Dre's mom, Verna Young, faced losses that would break anyone. Before Dre even found success, she lost 3 sons. One passed away just a day after being born, another only 2 months old, and her oldest, Tyree, was killed at 21 in Compton street violence. 3 sons gone. No heart can survive that kind of pain. It left her broken, walking through life like a shadow of herself. And in that darkness, Dre had to become the rock of the family.
Who's that?
A kid forced to grow up fast, holding back his tears while listening to his mother cry through the night. Death surrounded him, but he refused to give in. Maybe that's when he learned his toughest lesson. If he wasn't strong, he wouldn't make it. With the weight of the world on his shoulders, Dre made his choice. School couldn't save him, but music could. He dropped out of Centennial High and decided that his beats, not textbooks, would be his ticket out. Everything changed for Andre on one unforgettable Christmas day. Instead of a normal gift, he got something that would rewrite his future: a drum machine. It wasn't just a toy, it was power in his hands. For the first time, Dre could build beats from scratch, creating music his own way. That little machine flipped the script, turning him from a fan into a real producer with fire in his soul. To learn and survive, Dre started DJing at Eve After Dark, a hot club in Compton. That's where he met DJ Yella, a partnership that would one day shape hip-hop history. Around that time, Andre gave himself a new identity. Inspired by NBA legend Dr. J, he became Dr. Dre. The name fit perfectly. He crafted sound with precision, just like a doctor working on music instead of medicine. By 1984, Dr. Dre and DJ Yella joined the world-class Wreckin' Crew, a group all about disco vibes and flashy fits. But something didn't sit right. Dre's reality was the rough streets, not glitter and smiles. He needed raw sound, music that screamed the truth of Compton. The disco dream just didn't match his world. Then, in 1986, fate stepped in. Dre crossed paths with Ice Cube, a young rapper with razor-sharp lyrics and unstoppable energy. Together, they sparked magic. Dre's hard beats met Cube's raw words, and the streets finally had a voice. Seeing their potential, Eazy-E jumped in with the money and business smarts, forming Ruthless Records. With Dre, Cube, Eazy-E, MC Ren, and DJ Yella, N.W.A was born. In 1988, they dropped Straight Outta Compton. Made in just 6 weeks, it wasn't just music, it was a revolution. Loud, bold, and unfiltered, the album called out police brutality and street injustice like never before, shaking America to its core. The lyrics of Straight Outta Compton hit harder than anyone expected. They didn't just shake the music industry, they shook the entire government. The message was so raw that the FBI sent a warning letter to Ruthless Records, accusing N.W.A of encouraging hate toward law enforcement. That moment sealed their title, the world's most dangerous group. But what they really did was open a new chapter in history. They proved that rap could be a weapon of truth, the loudest voice for freedom of speech and the street's reality. However, success came with chaos. The money was flowing, but trust was fading fast. Arguments about finances tore through the group, and behind-the-scenes drama started to explode. By 1990, Ice Cube had enough. He walked away from N.W.A, convinced he wasn't getting what he deserved. His exit lit a fire that turned into one of hip-hop's biggest diss wars. Cube's track No Vaseline was brutal, completely ending their bond and splitting the crew apart for good. But the tension didn't just stay in music. Dre's temper became another storm. In 1991, he made headlines for attacking TV host Dee Barnes after she aired an interview that made N.W.A look broken apart. The incident led to legal trouble. Dre got probation, community service, and was ordered to join an anti-violence campaign. It was a dark stain on his image that followed him for years. Even before that, Dre's past relationships faced serious controversy. His ex, singer Michelle Lay, later spoke publicly about suffering from his violent outbursts, which deeply hurt her and damaged his reputation even more. Behind the fame and fortune, Dre's struggle with anger became a shadow he couldn't escape. Proof that his greatest battles weren't just in music, but within himself. What made everything even more explosive was Dr. Dre's silence for years after the Dee Barnes incident. He showed little regret at first, even once saying he only did it because she portrayed him wrong. Those words shocked fans everywhere. It wasn't until decades later, during the 2015 promo for Straight Outta Compton, that Dre finally owned up. He publicly apologized, admitting it was a terrible mistake, the biggest regret of his life. After that scandal and endless money battles with Eazy-E, Dre knew he was trapped under Ruthless Records. He needed freedom, and that's when Suge Knight entered the story. Suge was big, feared, and had a violent reputation. The tale goes that Suge and his crew stormed into Eazy-E's office, demanding Dre's release papers in a not-so-friendly way. Out of that chaos, Death Row Records was born, built on power, intimidation, and street politics. The label rose fast, but it was pure madness inside, full of tension, ego, and fear. Dre later admitted, "When Suge showed up, I stopped having fun in hip-hop." He felt trapped again, this time inside his own empire. Still, even in the middle of that storm, Dre's creativity exploded. In 1992, he dropped The Chronic, a masterpiece that redefined West Coast rap and introduced the world to G-Funk. Smooth synths, deep bass, and street stories all blended into a sound no one had ever heard before. The album became a monster hit, and his track, Let Me Ride, won him his first Grammy. Then came another move that proved Dre's genius. He introduced the world to a young rapper named Snoop Dogg. With Dre producing Doggy Style in 1993, Snoop shot straight to stardom. At that moment, Dr. Dre wasn't just a producer. He was hip-hop royalty who could turn anyone into gold. Dr. Dre had turned into a global icon, and Death Row Records ruled hip-hop like a kingdom. But even with all that fame, darkness wasn't done with him yet. The chaos surrounding the label hit a new level when Tupac Shakur joined in 1995. With Dre, Snoop, and Tupac together, it felt like nothing could stop them. Their hit California Love took over the world, becoming the anthem of the West Coast. But behind the music, tension was boiling. Tupac's arrival poured fuel on the fiery East Coast versus West Coast feud, a rivalry that had already grown deadly. The battle between Death Row Records and Bad Boy Records turned from words into war. Everything reached tragedy in September 1996. After a Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas, Tupac and Suge Knight got into a fight with a rival gang member. Minutes later, as they drove off in a black BMW, another car pulled up beside them, and gunfire broke out. Tupac was hit several times, and Suge was wounded. After a week in the hospital, Tupac died on September 13, 1996, at just 25 years old. His death crushed the hip-hop world and marked the fall of Death Row's violent reign. Less than a year later, the notorious B.I.G. was killed in Los Angeles. Another shocking loss that ended the coast-to-coast war but left scars that would never heal. For Dre, the deaths were a wake-up call. He had built an empire, but it had turned into a trap. Surrounded by chaos, violence, and Suge Knight's control, Dre realized he had to walk away, even if it meant losing everything. In 1996, just months before Tupac's death, Dr. Dre made his boldest move yet. He left Death Row with nothing but his name and his vision for peace. Dr. Dre's exit from Death Row Records was one of the boldest moves in music history. He walked away with nothing, no money, no masters, just his freedom. It was a massive financial sacrifice, but it saved his life. Dre said it best, "I'm not leaving with a wet shirt, I'm leaving with my life." That moment marked a clean break from Suge Knight's control and the chaos that nearly destroyed him. Starting over wasn't easy. In 1996, Dre launched Aftermath Entertainment under Interscope Records. The name said it all. It was the aftermath of his stormy past. Dre dreamed of a fresh start, a label built on creativity, not violence. But the beginning was rough. His first release, Dr. Dre Presents The Aftermath, flopped both commercially and critically. People started whispering, can Dre really win without Death Row? He tried again with The Firm, a supergroup featuring Nas and Foxy Brown, but even that didn't hit like he hoped. The critics were brutal, saying Dre's era was over, that his success had only existed because of Snoop Dogg and Tupac. His empire seemed to crumble right before his eyes, and the fear of failure hit him hard. Then, out of nowhere, Destiny dropped a lifeline. In 1998, Jimmy Iovine, Dre's close friend and co-founder of Interscope, handed him a demo tape from a Detroit rapper named Marshall Mathers, Eminem. At first, Dre didn't expect much, but when he pressed play, everything stopped. That voice, raw, furious, and unstoppable, hit him like lightning. Dre froze and said, "Who is that?" He knew instantly this was something new, something game-changing. Signing Eminem was risky, a white rapper in a black-dominated genre, but Dre saw genius where others saw doubt. That decision would rebuild his empire and flip the entire rap world upside down. When Dr. Dre decided to back Eminem, the industry went wild. Many warned him that supporting a white rapper would ruin his image. They said it would destroy his credibility, but Dre didn't care. He saw the fire in Marshall Mathers, the hunger, and the raw talent that couldn't be ignored. So Dre took the risk and put his entire reputation on the line, and it paid off in the most legendary way. The partnership between Dre and Eminem became a worldwide explosion. The man who once created a new sound now reinvented hip-hop all over again. Dre's sharp production mixed with Eminem's wild energy created magic. Their first hit, My Name Is, was bold, funny, and unforgettable. It introduced Eminem as a force of nature, guided by one of the greatest producers alive. The comeback was unstoppable. Dre wasn't just back, he came back stronger than ever. He proved that greatness has no color and no limits. Aftermath Entertainment turned into a clean, powerful empire, one free from the violent past of Death Row. Then in 1999, Dre sealed his throne with his second solo album, 2001. Originally meant to be called The Chronic 2000, Suge Knight tried to steal the name by releasing his own compilation first, but Dre flipped that move into victory. He simply renamed his project 2001 and it became an instant classic, packed with legendary tracks like Still DRE and Forgot About Dre. The album roared with confidence, a loud reminder that Dre was still on top. His production skills turned the album into a masterpiece that redefined modern rap, and Dre didn't stop there. He helped shape more megastars. In 2000, he produced Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP, which broke records, and just 3 years later, 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin', built from Dre's studio sessions in only a week, became another hip-hop landmark. It took just 1 week for Dr. Dre to help 50 Cent turn Get Rich or Die Tryin' into a worldwide smash. Every beat hit hard, and Dre's name became untouchable in hip-hop. By 2005, Rolling Stone crowned him one of the 100 greatest artists of all time. A rare honor for a producer from the streets. But Dre wasn't done making history. After the 2001 era, he began chasing what fans called the most anticipated rap album ever, Detox. For years, he teased it, promising perfection. The project became almost mythical, a symbol of Dre's obsession with greatness. Yet while the album stalled, his vision grew far beyond music. In 2008, Dre teamed up with Jimmy Iovine and the audio company Monster to launch Beats by Dre. It wasn't just about sound, it became a global lifestyle brand. By 2014, the impossible happened. Apple bought Beats for a jaw-dropping $3.2 billion, the biggest acquisition in Apple's history. Overnight, Dr. Dre became hip-hop's first billionaire. He proved his own words true. I don't just do things, I dominate them. But even as Dre built an empire, the past kept resurfacing. Behind the fame were stories of heartbreak and controversy that cast a shadow over his success. Dr. Dre is the father of 8 children from 5 relationships, reflecting how turbulent his personal life has been. His first son, Curtis Young, born 1981, grew up mostly without him, but later followed his father's path in music under the name Hood Surgeon. Another son, Marcel Young, born 1991, came from Dre's relationship with singer Michelle, who later accused him of being abusive during their time together, a claim that stirred major public backlash. Then came tragedy. Dre's third son, Andre Young Jr., born 1988, whose story would soon become one of the most heartbreaking moments of Dre's life. By the time Dr. Dre had cemented his legacy as one of the most powerful figures in music, tragedy struck hard. His son, Andre Young Jr., passed away at just 20 years old. He was found unresponsive at home, and the loss shattered Dre's world. For a man on the verge of billionaire status, it was a heartbreaking reminder. All the money in the world couldn't bring his son back. Andre Jr.'s death forced Dre to face painful questions about fatherhood, distance, and what success had truly cost him. It became a wound so deep that even his greatest music couldn't heal it. But life wasn't done testing him. In love and marriage, Dre faced another storm, the billion-dollar divorce. Among all the women who had come and gone in his life, Dre had chosen to marry Nicole Young in 1996. For over 2 decades, they seemed solid. But in 2020, everything collapsed when Nicole suddenly filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. What followed turned into one of Hollywood's most explosive legal battles. The main fight centered on a prenup. Dre claimed they had signed one before marriage, but Nicole argued he tore it up 2 years later as a romantic gesture, something that could give her rights to half his fortune, including his massive Beats deal worth billions. As the case dragged from 2020 to 2022, both sides came out swinging with top-tier lawyers. Nicole brought back old abuse accusations, ones connected to Dee Barnes and Michelle, saying she had suffered throughout their marriage. Dre hit back just as hard, accusing Nicole of secretly taking hundreds of thousands from his business accounts. Their breakup became a public war. Love turned into a courtroom battlefield worth millions, showing that even for a billionaire, peace can be the hardest thing to keep. The divorce battle only grew nastier. Nicole Young demanded a shocking $2 million per month in spousal support, a number that Dr. Dre called outrageous. She also wanted a $26 million Malibu mansion and millions more for security costs, turning the courtroom into a war zone. Then, in January 2021, while the case was still raging, tragedy nearly struck again. Dr. Dre suffered a brain aneurysm and was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center's ICU in Los Angeles. It was a terrifying moment that made him face his own mortality. For the first time, he realized that no fortune or fame could protect him from life's fragility. The health scare became a wake-up call for both sides. After months of stress, exhaustion, and skyrocketing legal fees, they finally agreed to end the battle. In the final settlement, Dre paid Nicole $100 million, half immediately and the rest 1 year later. In exchange, Nicole had to return all shared assets, including jewelry, cash, and certain properties. Dre kept control of what truly mattered: his music rights, Beats by Dre brand, and real estate empire. After years of chaos, Dre began looking for something he'd rarely had: peace. He started a quieter relationship with Jillian Spear, a marriage and family therapist. This time, things stayed private, and many saw it as a sign that Dre was finally seeking emotional stability after decades of turmoil. Even after paying Nicole $100 million, Dr. Dre's wealth barely took a hit. His net worth remains between $400 to $600 million, boosted by smart business moves. Recently, he reportedly sold part of his music catalog and royalties to Universal Music Group and Shamrock Capital for over $200 million. It's clear, Dre isn't just surviving the storm, he's mastering it, turning his legacy into long-term power and peace. Even after all the storms, Dr. Dre is still living like royalty. He owns multiple luxury homes, including his stunning $40 million Brentwood estate in Los Angeles, once owned by Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen. Now in his 60s, Dre has shifted from the chaos of running labels to a life focused on health, peace, and purpose. After surviving a life-threatening brain aneurysm in 2021, Dre fully recovered and turned his lifestyle around. He now follows a strict fitness routine and wellness plan, using that near-death experience as a reminder that health comes before everything. He still enjoys his success, but these days it's quieter, wiser, and driven by giving back. Dre's legacy reached new heights with the 2015 film Straight Outta Compton, which he co-produced. The movie became a box office powerhouse and celebrated the real story of N.W.A. That same year, Dre released Compton and promised that every dollar from the album would go toward building a performing arts center at Compton High School, helping kids chase dreams through music and art. Alongside Jimmy Iovine, Dre donated $70 million to USC to create the Iovine and Young Academy, a space for future innovators blending art, tech, and business. Then came the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show, where Dre led an all-star lineup, a performance so powerful it won 3 Emmy Awards. By 2023, he received the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award, and in 2024, he earned his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. At 60, Dr. Dre has conquered it all: music, business, and life itself. From a kid in Compton to a global icon, his true legacy is resilience and reinvention. This case file closes here, but Hollywood's shadows still hold more secrets. Don't miss what's next. Like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.